going to spend the night underground in only a homemade shelter. When I say underground, I literally mean underneath the ground, because these trees, the ground below, it's just been lifted up. I don't know how this has happened. Is it the weather? Are the trees too heavy? But it just looks like the perfect place to spend the night. Oh, I am literally sinking in the floor already. This is not a good start. Oh. It is sinking mud. I just think it's absolutely amazing. There's about 10 trees pointing into the woods. The ground's on a massive slant. This is why nature's just beautiful. But to be honest, I don't know how sturdy it's going to be. Hopefully it doesn't fall on me when I'm sleeping under there tonight. But first I'm going to try and climb up there and just see what it's like on the top. I've made it to the top. It's actually quite high up here. I'm going to be sleeping under there, but luckily, because I'm in a forest, there's plenty of different materials to use as supplies to make the camp a bit more like home tonight. Well, I've got a shovel and I'm going to start by digging up some of the ground here to hopefully make it a bit better to sleep on. So it should be pretty easy. Look at that. It is so easy to dig that up because of how wet it is. Right, let's have a look at what we're playing with down here. Oh, so it's a lot drier down there. It's a bit more like clay though, like crumbly clay. Oh, that is weird texture, but that is great because that'll be nicer to sleep on than like these wet puddles. So I'm going to do that, get a good base. You can just see some of the huge roots underneath the floor. Like this one's like a tree trunk in itself. I've just finished digging, I've dug out my bed. I've discovered why I'm not a builder. Digging is a lot harder than it looks, but here is where I'll be sleeping. This is all the mud and the dirt that's come out. And what I'm going to do is I've got some moss. I'm just going to pack all that in there. So hopefully to be comfy tonight when I'm lying down, which to be honest, it looks like it's going to work. Like this moss is like really springy stuff. Well, the bed's nice and firmly in place, but I do have this massive stick, which I dragged out the woods, which I'm just going to put just over the bed like this to hopefully make it a little bit more private. There we go. If I can get a few more of them sticks kind of going around, I think it's starting to look good. Just walking to get some wood for the fire. And I'm just amongst all these massive trees. And I'm just thinking, how amazing is it just being here by myself? Literally in the middle of the woods. It just goes on for ages. So it's getting darker, but because there's so many trees and they're so high, you feel quite protected. So I feel quite safe out in the woods alone. Just found a shoe inside a little stream. It's covered in moss. It looks like it's been there for absolutely ages. It just looks like it's part of the ground now. I don't know what type of shoe it is, but it is a little bit concerning, but I'm just going to leave it down there. Well, this is the camp so far. I'm already protected from the rain, which is brilliant. I don't need anything up there, but I've made this little door area with sticks, and it's kind of like supporting the shelter as well. So you just come through here, walk through the mud, and there's the bed. And here's the fire that still needs to be lit. I found some dry rocks and some dry wood, which is perfect because it is going to get dark soon. The sun's went down. I'm going to test the bed for the first time. Right, right on the floor. Oh, it's actually not as wet as it was because I'd done the digging. The moss is still a little bit damp, but it's just quite damp in the forest anyway. But this isn't bad at all. I need something for my head. I think I'm going to find some like leaves or something for my head because that is currently in mud. But all in all, not a bad start. Got the fire burning, it's absolutely unreal. Underneath the shelter, it's nice and cosy. But this is what I've got for dinner tonight. It's a potato wrapped in tin foil. I'm going to put it inside the fire and hopefully it cooks it and turns it into like a jacket spud. I'm really craving it at the minute. I just don't have any toppings for it. But if I can get it like nice and crispy, it should be good. Just going to shove it in. Like that, just in the middle, and hopefully it cooks. I'm going to build up the fire around it so there's like loads of flames going into the potato. I think the simple things in life are just so important. I've got my dinner cooking on the fire there, there's the potato, I've got my jacket and my bag hanging off a branch that's supporting my shelter, I've got my flask hanging up on a branch as well. Honestly, if I just take it all in, it's just absolutely amazing. Just the setting where I'm at right now is perfect. One of my favourite sounds is just the fire crackling. Listen to it. So loud. My potato though is definitely cooking right, but I need to work out how I'm going to get it out of the fire because I don't have anything. I'm just going to have to go in with my hands. Oh, there we go. It is a little bit burnt on the outside. Let's say it's well done. It's not burnt, it's well done. Right, I'm going to have to use this rock as like a little plate. Ooh. It is a little bit cremated, to be honest. I knew it was either going to be the worst or best potato ever. There's no in between. Look at that. Apart from the fact that the outside of it's burnt, the inside is like a nice, fluffy, oh, that is so hot, potato. I'm going to pick it up and just give it a massive bite. It is a little bit burnt on the back, but let's see how it tastes. It's so hot. But that's what I want. When you're kind of like outside in the woods like this, you want hot food. It does taste a little bit like fire, but the inside is cooked to perfection. Can't lie, this is probably the most scared I've been doing one of these challenges. I'm just looking out into the woods at night. I can just see a couple of trees, but beyond that, it's just darkness. So it is quite spooky. I am going to try and get some sleep now though. It is time. Oh, Look at that. All that moisture in the bed. Oh, it's going to be a wet night. But I'm just going to have to firm it. And just... Oh, it is literally like lying in a bath. A muddy, wet bath. I've really enjoyed setting up camp, building the fire, having my food. And now I'm just lying in this cold, wet bed. But hopefully I just doze off. That would be the perfect scenario. But I'm just looking up. Look at all that ground, roots. What a place. Time 7 a.m. It's just started to get light. I've just got up. But last night, my entire bed ended up underwater. Look at that. I don't know where all the water's come from. Because the shelter's absolutely fine. It didn't rain much. But the water just must have come from like under the ground. Because it got to about 3 a.m. and I just lost all feeling in my feet. They were so cold, they were wet. But I haven't been able to take my boots off because I didn't think I'd be able to get them back on. So I can't wait to get home later, dry off my feet, get warm. But the best decision that I've made all night is to not drink my flask of tea last night. So this morning I get a cup of breakfast tea inside the shelter in the woods. Been thinking about this cup of tea all night when I was lying there in the cold, but it's absolutely worth it in the end. The rain's coming down, I don't care, it's absolutely unreal. I feel like I learned a lot about myself last night. Kind of, you learn a lot about your character when you're faced with difficulties. So the bed started leaking water in, and it's how you overcome that. And I think I dealt with it pretty well. I'm happy to go home now and get nice and warm.